So dear students, let me discuss about the previous year questions of GST exam. Okay, so and the questions are based on electromagnetic theory. Okay, electricity and magnetism, or you can say electromagnetic theory. So here is the first question: that two dielectric spheres of radius r are separated by a distance a such that a is very greater than r, and this means we can ignore the radius with respect to a. Okay, two dielectric spheres of radius are separated. So the pictorial form will be like this. Suppose this is a sphere of radius r, and here is the another sphere of radius r. Okay, and the distance between these two is a. Distance between these two is a. Okay, and that means we can take the center to center distance as a. Okay, we can ignore the radius r with respect to a. We don't need to consider this distance, this distance r or this distance r. Okay, and next, one of the sphere has a charge q. So this can be taken as sphere 1 and it has charge q, and the other is neutral. So this is neutral. Now when this sphere has charge q and this sphere is neutral, and if you take a neutral sphere, obviously this is a, though it is a dielectric sphere, but this sphere will have some charge, some induced charge, that will be, let me suppose it's q1. Okay, and now there will be a force between these two charges q and q1. So what will be the force here? The force will be F is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into q1 upon a square. So this will be the force. Now what is said, if the linear dimension of the system is scaled up by factor 2, linear dimension of the system, that means this distance a will be now 2a. So if we scale up this distance, it will be now 2a. By what factor should be the charge on the sphere 1 be changed? So now let me consider the charge on this sphere is now q dash. So we have to find out this q dash. Okay. So now for the second case, if we take f dash, then f dash will be what? 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into, it will be q dash q1 upon 4 square. Now according to question, by what factor should be charge on the sphere 1 be changed so that the force between two sphere remains unchanged? That means f is equal to f dash. In that situation, we have to find out q dash. So if we put this condition that f is equal to f dash, then what we will get? We will get just 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into q1 by a square is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into q dash q1 upon 4 square. Okay, so square and 4 by 4 epsilon naught will be cancelled out. So we will have q1 also cancelled. So you have q is equal to q dash upon 4. So what will be q dash? So q dash will be 4q. So by what factor should be the charge on the sphere 1 be changed? It will be scaled up by factor 4. So C is the correct answer. Okay. So now let me move to the next question. This is question number 2 I have taken here. A circular loop of radius r carries a uniform line charge density lambda. So that means lambda is nothing but, so if total charge is q, then it will be q upon 2 pi r. Okay. Now what is said, the electric field calculated at a distance z directly above the center of the loop. Okay, that means if we take the loop like this, okay, then at a distance z from this center, what is the electric field here? We know the direct expression of electric field. If the total charge is q and this is radius r, this distance will be root r square plus z square, and at this point we know the electric field actually. Electric field E is equal to, let me give you the direct expression of this, 1 upon 4 epsilon naught into qz divided by r square plus z square to the power 3 by 2. This is the electric field at this point. And if you want, you can express this q in terms of lambda. in the questions lambda is given, so you can replace this q as lambda into 2 pi. But no need to do this, because we have to find out here the z. What is the value of z at which the electric field is maximum? The electric field is maximum. So for electric field will be maximum, we have a condition that will obviously d upon dz is equal to 0 when E is maximum. When E is equal to Emax, then obviously this is the condition. We know from the basic concept of calculus, to be maximum or minimum any function, we have to take the first differentiation of this function is 0. But we don't need to do the second differentiation to prove that it is either maximum or minimum, because we know the minimum value of E actually. The minimum value of E will be at the center at z is equal to 0. Okay, at z is equal to 0, there will be minimum. So whatever condition we will get from this expression other than 0, that will obviously be the maximum condition. Okay, so we don't need to do the second differentiation. That is necessary for mathematical problem to understand either the point is maximum or the point is minimum. But here no need to do this, because we know the minimum point. Minimum point is here. Electric field is 0 here, field z is equal to 0, and that will be the minimum here. Otherwise, either in this direction or in this direction, if you go far away from this point, the electric field will be changed and you will get a maximum value either in this direction or in this direction. Then again you will get minimum at infinity. So we have to find out the maximum condition, and that will be obviously we will get from this condition. So we have to differentiation this function, this z upon r square plus, that will be, we have to just, because this q upon 4 pi epsilon is constant, so we have to just differentiation this function d dz of z upon r square plus z square to the power 3 by 2. We need to differentiation this function just. This will be the condition. Okay, so let me do it in the next page. So what we have just d dz of z upon r square plus z square to the power 3 by 2. This is just u by v differentiation. So what will be this? So this will be just r square plus z square cube, and then we have r square plus z square to the power 3 by 2, and differentiation of z is just 1 minus z into differentiation of this, and that will be 3 by 2 into r square plus z square to the power 3 by 2 minus 1, and differentiation of z square is 2z, and that will be equal to 0. That will be equal to 0. So this will imply that as this is 0, so we have numerator is equal to 0. That means this equal this. This you can write from here that r square plus z square to the power 3 by 2 is equal to this. And what will be this? This 2 and 2 will be cancelled out. This z and z square, so it will be 3z square. And here r square plus z square to the power half. Z square to the power half. So you could take this expression left hand side, then you will have 3 by 2 minus half. Okay, so it will be r square plus z square 3 by 2 minus half will be 3z square, and that will be 1. So you will have r square plus z square is equal to 3z square. So r square is equal to 2z square. So z will be plus minus r by root 2, and that will be the maximum point. Plus minus r by root 2. That will be the maximum point. Why? Because I have said earlier that you will get plus r by root 2 along this direction, and you will get minus r by root 2 along this direction. Okay, but the magnitude will be r by root 2. So this will be the correct answer. D will be the correct answer. Okay. So now let's move to the next question. Consider 2 points as q and lambda q located at the points x is equal to a and x is equal to mu a. So let me take the x-axis. So suppose this is the x-axis, and here is the point x is equal to a, and here is the point x is equal to mu. Let me take mu is greater than 1. Okay. Assuming that the sum of the two charges is constant, so one is q and another is lambda q. Lambda q, q lambda. and according to the questions, the q plus lambda q is equal to constant. Let me take the constant as c, because k is the dielectric constant, so let me take as c, that will be less confusing. So q into 1 plus lambda is equal to c, so we have q is equal to c by 1 plus lambda. Now what we have to find out, assuming that the sum of the two is constant, what is the value of lambda for which the magnitude of the electric force is maximum? So what will be the electric force between these two charges? Let me take it as CGS unit. Okay, so F will be just q into q lambda divided by distance square, that means mu a minus a, so it will be mu a minus a whole square. So this will be the expression of this force, that is q square lambda divided by mu a minus a, obviously mu a minus a whole square. And now we have to find out the lambda for which force will be maximum, that means df by d lambda. We have to find out df by d lambda, and before that we have to express this q in terms of lambda, and we have q is equal to c upon 1 by lambda. So let me substitute this value here. Okay, so we have force F as q square lambda divided by mu a minus a whole square, and that will be 1 by mu a minus a whole square into q square, means q means c by 1 plus lambda, so it will be c square upon 1 plus lambda whole square into lambda. So this will be constant, c square upon mu a minus a whole square is constant, and the only variable is lambda upon 1 by 1 plus lambda whole square. So for df by d lambda is constant for maximum f. So for maximum f we have the condition. Okay, for maximum f df by d lambda is equal to 0, and this is constant, so we have to differentiation only for this function. So we have the condition that will be d lambda of lambda by 1 plus lambda whole square is equal to, so whole square is equal to 0, and that will be what? So 1 plus lambda whole square, and that will be 1 plus lambda to the power 4. Okay, and it will be unchanged whole square, and the differentiation of lambda is 1 minus lambda, and the differentiation of this is 2 into 1 plus lambda is equal to 0. So again we can find that 1 plus lambda whole square, this will be 0 only when 1 plus lambda whole square is equal to just 2 lambda into 1 plus lambda. Now if we ignore this, so it will be 1 plus lambda is equal to 2 lambda. So we have 2 lambda minus lambda is equal to 1. So here lambda is equal to 1. So the value of lambda is 1, for which the force will be maximum. So B will be correct answer. Okay. So now let's move to the next question. So this is the question number 4. A ring of radius 0.5 meter is given. The radius of this ring is just 0.5 meter and has a gap of 0.002 pi, and let me take this gap as dl. Okay, and dl is given here 0.002 pi meter. Okay, now if the ring carries a charge of 1 coulomb, so total charge q is 1 coulomb, total charge is 1 coulomb distributed uniformly along the ring, then the electric field at the center of this ring, at this center origin, what is the electric field at this center for this ring? Now what will be the linear charge density? Let me find. So lambda is equal to q upon 2 pi r, q upon 2 pi r. Okay, and what is q? Q is 1 coulomb, and 2 pi r, that is 2 into 3.14 into what is r? R is here given as 0.5. So this is coulomb per meter. This is lambda. Okay, this is lambda. So it will be 0.5 into 2, that is 1. So it will be 1 by 3.14, or you can simply write down that 1 by pi. So lambda is 1 by pi. Okay, lambda is 1 by pi. And now what we have to do? We have to find out the electric field at this point. So let me use a trick that we know that the electric field at the center of a uniform charge ring is 0. So if we assume that the positive charge that is here, the positive charge that is given, and if we take this gap has the charge dq plus positive charge dq. If there was a charge dq, then due to this whole ring the electric field will be here 0. As you know, electric field at the center of ring is 0. Electric charge is uniformly distributed. But what is the difference? Difference is that here is a gap. And if we make up the gap with charge dq, positive charge, then the electric field will be at 0. Now, if we placed positive charge plus dq and negative charge minus dq at this point, at this portion, let me place a positive charge plus dq as well as the negative charge minus dq, then the gap of this ring is satisfied, because that means the charge is 0. Previously the charge was 0 when there is nothing, but if we placed a positive charge plus dq and negative charge minus dq, then also the charge is 0. So the condition is satisfied of the question. Now what you have to do, you have to just take this dq plus dq to continue this ring. Let me take this plus dq, utilize this plus dq for continue this ring, and due to this plus dq the electric field here is 0, but this minus dq charge is now here separately other than this plus charge, and for this minus dq charge the electric field will be along this direction, because this is the negative charge. And now the only charge that is left to give the electric field at this point is minus dq, because this plus dq charge is utilized to give the electric field 0 here. With this charge, with this given charge, I have taken plus dq charge to complete the ring. That will lead you to 0 electric field at the center. But according to the question here the charge should be 0. So if you take plus dq charge here, then you have to put a minus dq charge also. But this minus dq charge will not be compensated by any other charge. So this minus dq charge will be now responsible to give the electric field at this point, at this center. And this plus dq charge will be utilized to give the 0 electric field here. So the only electric field that will be at this point is only due to minus dq charge, and that will be obviously is equal to, for point charge dq, the electric field will be 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into dq by r square, simply dq by r square. And what will be this dq? Dq will be lambda dl. So it will be 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into lambda dl upon r square. And we know the value of lambda, we know the value of dl. Dl is 0.002 pi. Okay, so let me put. So it will be 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. Okay, and lambda is 1 upon pi, and dl is 0.002 pi, and r is 0.5 square. Now you can calculate this result, and you will get the result will be, I think, this 7.2 into 10 to the power 7. You will get the result. So this is the process for these kinds of problems, and this will only possible when this distance is very small, the gap is very small. Okay, DL kind of situation should be there. Otherwise, the electric field will be distorted so much. Okay, so this is how you can solve this kinds of problem. Okay, so now let me solve the next question also. And here given that an electric charge distribution produces an electric field E equal to this. The net charge within a sphere of radius alpha inverse centered at the origin. So what will be the net charge? So here electric field is given and alpha is constant here. Okay, and this is unnecessary, I think. So here the electric field E is equal to, is given here as 1 minus e to the power minus alpha into r vector by r cube. So this is your electric field. We can find it in terms of unity vector. Okay, so it will be 1 minus e to the power minus alpha, and it will be r cap upon r cube. So it will be just 1 minus e to the power minus alpha into r cap upon r square. Okay, so this will be the electric field. So electric charge distribution is given. The net charge within the sphere. What will be the net charge within the sphere? So if you use the Gauss law, then you know What is the Gauss law? According to Gauss law, the electric flux, total electric flux, that is closed integration, surface integration, obviously E dot ds is nothing but total Q inside, okay, Q inside divided by epsilon zero, total charge within the sphere. We can find out from this expression. So if we able to find out this electric flux, that is E dot ds, then we can easily find out this Q inside, the total charge which is in Q inside. So what is E dot ds? So E dot ds for sphere, for sphere, the ds vector is along r cap, and here electric field is also given along r cap. According to the question, we can find it. According to the question, the electric field is also along r vector, that is along r cap, obviously. So we can easily find out the electric flux E dot ds. So E dot ds means E r cap dot ds r cap. So it will be integration, closed integration, E r cap, E vector means, and ds vector means dot ds r cap. ds r cap is equal to Q inside upon epsilon zero. So this r dot r will be 1. So you can find out easily closed integration E dot eds. That will be Q inside upon epsilon zero. And closed integration E into ds, and closed integration E is constant here. Now you can be outside because E is not dependent on S actually. Spherical symmetry is there. So it will be E into 4 pi r square, because integration ds is 4 pi r square. So E into 4 pi r square is now Q inside by epsilon zero. So what will be Q inside? So Q inside is now epsilon 0 E into 4 pi r square. Now what you have to do, you have to just put the value of E here. We know the value of E. The value of E is this 1 minus e to the power minus alpha r, okay. So 1 minus e to the power minus alpha, so epsilon 0 into 1 minus e to the power minus alpha r into what? We have 1 by r square, because r cap is utilized here, okay. So it will be 1 by r square into we have 4 by r square, okay. So this r square will be cancelled out, so it will be just 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 minus e to the power minus alpha r. Now what is r? So we have to find out the sphere of radius alpha inverse, that means r is equal to 1 by alpha. So you have to put r is equal to 1 by alpha. So if you put here r is equal to 1 by alpha, so you will have Q inside is equal to 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 minus e to the power minus alpha into 1 by alpha. So it will be 1 minus e to the power minus 1. So Q inside is equal to 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 minus e to the power minus 1. I think this will be the correct answer. So this will be the correct answer.